then become death, the destroyer of worlds.
The documentary Oppenheimer explores the life and morally dubious achievements of J. Robert Oppenheimer, a physicist who is credited with developing the atomic bomb. Oppenheimer was the director of Los Alamos Laboratory, where the bombs were actually put together, and one of the main contributors to the Manhattan Project, a government research project that ran from 1942 to 1946 and was focused on developing nuclear weapons. Universal Pictures has now released the first official trailer for Oppenheimer starring the likes of Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, and many more. Now let's get into the trailer that was just released. The trailer opens with what appears to be a nuclear bomb explosion as we get to see fire and dark clouds convoluting with each other. Then, it cuts to Cillian Murphy's oh so beautiful eyes as we get a look at some B-roll footage with Murphy either just waking up or looking out of the window. As drone footage of the clouds appears, we get our first dialogue that goes,
"We imagine a future, and our imaginings horrify us."
We see Murphy looking somewhat worried as the trailer shows us a glimpse of the explosion as well as Murphy looking at a machine of sorts. We're guessing it is the atomic bomb. Cut forward to aerial footage of the desert as we get our first look at the scientists assembling the bomb in a laboratory. The dialogue completes with,
They won't fear it until they understand it.
We see some more B-roll footage as Murphy covers his hand, perhaps afraid that the experiment wouldn't work. The dialogue runs,
And they won't understand it until they've used it.
Then, we see the classic Memento-inspired black and white footage as reporters swarm around Murphy, who looks somewhat dazed and on edge. Perhaps he now realizes just what kind of danger he had created. Fast forward to the next bit, we see some researchers testing the bomb as well as a scientist drawing mathematical equations on a chalkboard as the bomb is carried away on a state-sanctioned trolley. Some more B-roll, and then we get our first look at Jack Quaid and Gustav Skarsgård, presumably playing the roles of scientists who will be assisting Murphy with his research. We also see the atomic bomb famously called Fat Man as it is hurled over a tower. We're guessing this is the part where the US bombed the Japanese prefectures of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We see some more B-roll as the trailer ups the music and we get to see Murphy even more worried and scared as the trailer comes to an abrupt end with the release date geared for July 20th, 2023. Now that we're done with the trailer, let's explore Oppenheimer in more detail as well as the cast that has been put together for the film. As Murphy famously told The Guardian, "No matter how small the role, I'll always show up for Chris, Murphy. Chris will call and I'll be there," she said. It seems like actors greatly respect Christopher Nolan, and that is even more evident when you realize the cost they're a lineup such as the one in Oppenheimer. These actors are not just there to tell a significant story, but they also cherish the chance of working alongside Nolan. The much anticipated movie will hit theaters next summer, but in the meantime, the producers have unveiled some fresh images. Cillian Murphy plays J. Robert Oppenheimer in the film. Oppenheimer would later reflect on his role in the power and devastation his bombs generated while serving as the head of the Manhattan Project's Los Alamos Laboratory. In the years that followed, the US government persistently pursued him as they looked into his ties to the Communist Party. After the Dark Knight trilogy, Dunkirk, and Inception, this is Murphy's fifth picture with Nolan. However, this is the first time he is playing the primary character for the filmmaker, and he is accompanied by an excellent cast of performers. Along with Gary Oldman, Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, Rami Malek, and Kenneth Branagh, Emily Blunt plays his wife, Kitty. Louis Strauss, the chairman of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, is portrayed by Robert Downey Jr. and could wind up serving as the movie's main antagonist. The biographical book American Prometheus, The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer by Kai Bird and the late Martin J. Sherwin, which was awarded the 2006 Pulitzer Prize, served as the inspiration for the movie. Along with producers Charles Roven and Emma Thomas, Nolan will adapt the book for the screen and serve as the project's director and producer. Nolan's connection with Warner Bros. Terminated following the release of Tenet, and Oppenheimer is his first movie to be distributed independently since 2000's Memento. Regarding his part in the movie, Murphy previously stated, "I prepared by reading a ton. I'm curious about the man and what creating the atomic bomb has done to him." Earlier this month, we also got our first look at the cast in action as Universal Pictures released exclusive images from production. The most recent photographs from Christopher Nolan's newest epic have offered us a fresh perspective on the movie centered on the politics and physics of the atomic bomb. The mechanics of it, that's not really for me. I don't have the intellectual capability to understand them, but these contradictory characters are fascinating. The film has been shot for IMAX, as is tradition now for Nolan, as well as partly in black and white, by cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytema, who previously collaborated with the director on the features like Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Tenet. The film marks Nolan's first collaboration with Universal, having recently ended a 20-year partnership with Warner Bros. Studios following the release on Tenet in the summer of 2020. Oppenheimer opens in theaters on July 21st, 2023. Are you excited about Nolan's latest flick?